Hey guys. Um, yeah. What's everyone up to? I just banged my finger. Very unimpressed about that, but it'll heal. Um, Bill, g'day. 624 Dudley, hello. Adam, g'day. Peter Noddle, g'day. David Ian Sykes, g'day. Tea and Biscuits, hello. Less said about that, the better. It's sort of, yeah. Another trip around the sun. Getting old. I don't know what you do about that. Yeah, I wanted to see that going, Adam, the DRO thing. Russ Knox, g'day. Toe's all right now. There's not much wrong with that. Stuart, g'day. Fix that. I don't know. I was just messing around here doing a couple of little jobs. Kind of got my mojo back a bit. Bit productive this last couple of weeks, and that's really nice. So we'll see how we go with that. This bench is an absolute kind of catastrophe. But there's stuff happening usually when it's like that. So, what's everyone up to? What exciting things are happening? Finish this Weldon bench. How cool is that? We'll just look at it over here. It could do with it. It can stand a bit of looking. Got this sorted. I don't know how much pinstriping it really could stand, but anyway, we ended up with that too last night when I was doing nothing. Got a drawer in the bottom for hoses and leads and things. Trolley come from Patrick Byrne. Mate Patrick brought that down a few months ago. And the hospital wheels, I don't know where they come from. I reckon they probably come from Dad. I don't know. Anyway, bolted them on the bottom. It was a very big job. And morning, David. Made a form ply drawer. And I had a fairly thick lump of ply to sit the welder on. But when I got it all in there, I discovered that the welder doesn't clear the actual top of the bench. So we had to find a thinner bit. My mate John Pettit, who's probably in bed by now, but in Brisbane, he had a bit of 10mm plate that was probably IO opening for something in a foundry, pit opening or something. I don't know, Divine Spaces stickers all over it. Too clean to be sewer opening or something like that. So anyway, Sunday morning when there's no one around here, I can get the door open and get outside and do a lot of cutting and grinding and messing around. I ground the top of it up and cut it to size. I cut about 180 off the edge, about 100mm off the end, and all the ugly bits too. And put it together and gave it a coat of paint. So still needs a bottle rack, but we need a bottle before we can make that. Thanks for that insight, Bill. So have a look. These are just like countersink M12 screws and some coupling nuts and some bolts. That was the top there that had a machine bolted on it before. So hey, man, saying good day. Stephen Lang, g'day. Don't know about this whole clamp on this bench thing. Someone had this really great idea. Hold the phones. Hasn't actually been put into practice yet, but we'll live with it. Anyway, that's me just talking. So, got a decent lump of plate on it. It's really good. No bottle yet. Still got to find some transport for a gas bottle to get here, and then I'll mess around with this and probably learn to weld again all over again, because I'm kind of a bit sort of scratchy. Done a bit of stick welding since I've had this here, but that's about it. Yeah, Adam says I put the old man's name on the side of that, which is a nice little bit of lettering. This drawer here is just kick open. Look at that. And kick shut. Electric plugs. Talk electric plugs. That's just a 3-pin. No, we probably shouldn't talk about that plug. We won't. That's the welder plug, and that used to be 10 amp, but maybe it's not anymore. If you get my meaning. So there's another prototype job, just because I can, not because I might actually make something, over there on the lathe. If you have a look at that. Something I'm messing about with too. Messing with that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but it all looks like it's probably actually going to work now. I've 3D printed. I've got a set of castings made for that device, and maybe one day I might make them, but it'd be fun just to see if it works. So, been messing with that and printing a few things up, see how it goes. That's a fun little project. So watch that space for this one. Might happen at some point, but it might not too. Don't hold your breath. It may not even work. It's just proof of concept. I made patterns out of wood before I had a 3D printer, so I really don't know whether it is going to work without machining the pattern, machining the castings, or making a 3D printed one and seeing if that works. So I'll print up some bits over the next couple of days and bolt it up and see what happens. Probably won't run it at full speed with 3D printed parts, but it'd be interesting to see the actual functions, which it might or might not. So, yeah. You can draw your own conclusions about what that is and what it might do, or what it might not do. Anyway. Bought some dowels for legs for the harmonograph. There you go. So they just need a bit of a finish up. Not a big job to finish them from there, I think, and do that probably without too much major sawdust or turning or anything. Also got some 8mm hydraulic tube, steel hydraulic tube pendulums for the harmonograph. Now we all know what it is. That's just sort of project that's waiting for me to clear this out. Because, hey Dan, because this lump of plate that was quite a bit bigger than that arrived in the workshop and I had to do something with it this weekend. So I've cleaned that up and screwed it on, and that's done. So I can forget about that. And I can get back onto this, probably the harmonograph or whatever else. See how we go. Did this quick bit of sign writing on the weekend too. This goes up in the library above the spark plug display, antique spark plug collection box. So it fits in there on the wall there nicely. Quick job, bit rough. That's variegated silver, that leaf. If anyone's interested, that's kind of a bit of a cow thing, to be honest. And didn't get our size quite right in a couple of places. By the time I got down to this end, it was a bit tacked off. So we've got a couple of gaps, but you can't patch this leaf, so we've got to live with it. So anyway, if we'd been plain silver or plain gold, it wouldn't have had some issues. But if you look really carefully, there are issues with it. But apart from that, it's not bad. Fairly pleased with it. So just jumps out a bit. I like that. In other news, flatmate Dan, a new bike, new ride, Honda PCX 160. Pretty nice little bike actually for the money, brand new. Seems to have plenty of get up and go, and it's nice and easily serviced, easy to get on and off. It's all like keyless start and all that sort of stuff. Immobiliser. ABS on the front, I think drums on the back. What other questions? I think they're belt drive. Fairly nice. The mirrors aren't wide enough for me or for him. Don't know why they do that, but all you can see is your shoulders, so that's going to have something done with it. But nice little bike. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that. He was looking at a couple of different ones and sort of ended up with a Honda, so pretty impressed that he did that because it's a good bike. We appear to have a vacuum cleaner here that wasn't here this morning, so I don't know what that's about. That's a mystery. Sign there to go to Timberfest, probably, and a few other things. Roughed that board out last night and put a coat of undercoat on it. I might get a coat of top coat on it tonight before bed. So there's another job. I'll put this back on the bench. Yeah, it's a pretty nice scooter. It seems it hasn't run it in properly, and it's still doing 80, 90 kilometres an hour, and that's probably plenty heaps good enough. Anyway, fairly impressed with that as a bike. Wouldn't mind one, but don't know. Not a bad looking thing, I think. What else? Mate Patrick turned up again. When he dropped that sheet of plate off, he brought that sheet of plate down from Brisbane for me, which is really nice of him. Thanks, Patrick. If you're watching, you're probably not. Dropped off a huge box of books, and there's some cool stuff amongst them. I don't know if we're really very interested, but look at this. Crescent Woodworking Machinery catalogue. A lot of very cool things in there. Universal Borer. Surfacer. Planer and matcher. Look at the crazy line shaft gear on that to make everything work. Really nice technical illustrations. These are photographs that are actually airbrushed or retouched. Pretty nice, actually. 8-inch jointer. Don't know what year it is, but there's no square head on that machine. So that's pretty, if you look at that, it's a pretty modern machine, really. 1914. Pretty modern machine for 1914. Lots of cool stuff. So it's a fun book. There's one called Taking Care of Your Battery, which is very important, I guess, if you're a motorist. There's an introductory book, instruction book on the Westinghouse automatic brake, which is ex-railway book, I guess. What the reverse valve looks like. Hoses, couplings, brake cylinders, things like that. Very cool. Here's one called Why Don't the Railways? Don't know what this is about, I haven't really looked at it. The railways of Queensland belong to the people, apparently. We're trying to know something of the railway problems that directly or indirectly affect them. This is one of those old things that we won't fix the problems, we'll just spend the money making a book of excuses, obviously. This is a book of excuses. I've got no idea. Dan, we'll have a look. Hey, Paul. So there we go. It's a book of excuses from the Queensland Railways. Eagle and Globe Steel. Balfour's Hints on Steel. Simple or ordinary carbon tool steel. Don't know what else is covered. Alloy steels. Don't know if any of these. Eagle and Globe, which can become steel mark. I don't know if they're even going now. Which become One Steel. I don't know. Making and using small lathes. This is a book and a half. Look at this. How cool is that? Lathe with round bar bed. Details of the foot, marking out the centre hole, aligning the bed shears. There you go, Adam. It's a book on making your own lathe. How to set up a motor. How to set up a treadle. Details of a tailstock. Look at that. The assembled driving wheel. Pulleys. Rack and pinion gears on aprons. Screw cutting Yankee lathe made from castings and parts. How cool is that? I still have the Miller's Falls treadle lathe, yes. It's upstairs. It tends to live inside because it's all painted up nice. Be nice if it was about 3 times bigger. But anyway. The wife's something to do, yeah. There's one called The Boilermaker's Assistant by Courtney and Malden. And Technical Press. Cutting plates and pressures and templates, things like that. Fit ups and joints. Hey, John. So there we go. Another one, I don't know if this is really boring anyone. How to Work Sheet Metal by Percival Marshall, which is a Model Engineer publication. Tin snips and stuff. Don't know if I'm that keen to sheet metal worker, but anyway, fun book. Dan's listening, so I might just Dan's watching this, so I might just sort of gloss over this one. Fridge, indicator diagrams and things like that in this one. Might be worth sitting down and reading. In turbines, some cool things in there. It's an engine like that up at Petrie in the museum. Pretty much identical to that. I think it's probably Isabellus. It's a Morecambe and Watt, or a Bellis. Yeah, it's a Morecambe and Watt. So Bellis and Morecambe Limited. Same engine, high-speed twin, with the same electric generator. Percival Marshall, he was earlier than World War II, I think. Well, World War II, he must have been nearly dead. Percival Marshall founded Model Engineer in 1898. He was, I believe he was, oh gosh, no, I can't get my Percival Marshall history right, so I'm not going to say anything. This is pretty cool, I thought. Look at this. Tasmanian Adventure, the Island State. Tramper mountains, fisher seas, follow her tracks of her pioneers with Dick Wordley. City Motors. Some ads in this that sort of are pretty cool if you're Tasmanian. And some photographs. $150th anniversary. Neptune Motor Oil. The Commercial Bank of Australia. Don't know if they're actually going anymore. TAA to the mainland and enjoy pressurised comfort. Look at that. Fly TAA's pressurised Convair liners and relax in the calm weather above the clouds. TAA gives you more travel pleasure, faster schedules, more friendly and courteous service. TAA, the friendly way. How cool is this? Is there still a lighthouse on Iron Pot Island? There you go, or is that somewhere else? Oh, the liners at anchors at Hobart's doorstep. Gosh. The Hobart Mercury. There you go. 100 years ago. Ford sales and service at City Motors. Prefect. What's that? It's a custom line ute. And it might be two prefects, is it? No, there's a prefect in the middle. This one. What's this one? Who's the Ford expert? No idea. Motor vessel Orion takes aboard passengers bound for England. There you go. Hobart Post Office. There's an ad for 7HO, first in 1930 and still first today. That's what Bill listens to. Someone catching a barracuda in the sea. McKinley's. If it comes from McKinley's, it's good. Do right. Up to the minute quality merchandise. Fair dealings, pleasant surroundings, and a willing and courteous staff have made McKinley's Launceston's leading store for 67 years. What did McKinley's come? McKinley's ended up... What's that? Oh my gosh, that's the Birchall's building, is it? Not sure about that. Port Arthur. A Hobart Regatta. Look at this. Cadbury's Dairy Milk Chocolate. Also made in Hobart. National Bank. I don't know anyone's really interested in this, but this is pretty cool. The Launceston Hotel. Bank of New South Wales on that page. Hardy Brothers Tintara. Gosh, I hadn't really looked at this. This is really pretty awesome. MTM. What year is this? MTM Windows. When did they blow up? They had a gas explosion in... Gee, someone Google that for me. When was the MTM gas explosion? What year is this? $150 years. So, gosh, that would have been before then, I think, is it? Yeah, I had a very good friend, actually, who gave me the parts that made that dividing hand out of, actually. Elderly gentleman, fitter and turner, and toolmaker, who was foreman at MTM and later a bit higher up than that. But he was there when MTM had a gas explosion and there was a lot of people killed. It's a bit scary. Anyway, some history. Don't know if you'll even find that on the internet, but anyway. Campbelltown sheep. McKinley's closed in 1984. That's about right. I can sort of almost remember. I don't think they even closed. I think they became Fitzgerald's or someone. I'm not sure. I think Fitzgerald's might have bought them out. No, there's Fitzgerald's there. Fitzgerald's in Hobart, 93 Collins Street. Yeah, I'm old. I'm telling you, I'm old. I keep telling you this. The Brisbane Hotel, under Vice Regal patronage. Wonder who stayed at the Brisbane Hotel. The Rural Fire Board says keep Tasmania green, fight fire. Don't think either of those things go hand in hand. There's Tom's Bridge. No, it's not. What's that? That's which bridge is that? With that curve in it. Swallow Haywood, best in biscuits for 100 years. They must have gone under in the 70s. Lena Valley Milk Supply. Look at the fleet. Check out the fleet. What have we got there? What's that? A Morris in the front? What's the next one back? Is it missing a... No, it's the same. Is it the same truck? Not quite. No, it's got a split windscreen. That's a Ford, isn't it? I reckon. And then... What's that? Ford? Are they Fords? Anyway. Sorry, this has got me going. ANZ Bank. They're actually still going. Not any better. Biden Copes. Gosh, I shopped at Biden Copes. Oh my gosh. Styles have changed very considerably, but quality has remained constant at the House of Biden Cope. Goodness gracious. Russell Falls. Craig's got a really good video on Russell Falls if you want to have a look. It's a while back. Richmond Jar. That's down Bill's territory. Adventure Bay. Some skiing. Actually skiing that hasn't been run into by a tree. Some mountains. Gee. Walter Woolley was the Apple Queen in 1953. The Festival of Apple in the Huon Valley. They dance in the streets and sing and make merry and show their produce. That's what they do down in Bill's country. That's where he's from. Probably bought a coat or something. Biden Copes. It would have been a fairly expensive purchase. Could be a Dodge Mart. That's a fair point too. 1969 for the liquid oxygen explosion at MTM. There you go. Thanks, Adam. Of course she was a Woolly. Yeah, there's no one else who lived down there. Macquarie Island and the penguins. Hey, go and visit Tasmania if you haven't already. It's a pretty awesome spot. It's full of nice guys like Bill who shout you a beer if you buy one back. They even have good beer if you don't listen to Bill. Medhurst and Sons Electrical Engineers. Kane Unlimited. What did Kane spell? New hardware shop. Anyway, you're probably getting sick of this. Here's a SS Taruna. It's fast regular service between Beauty Point, Devonport and Burnie to Melbourne. On the Taruna. Gosh, that was a pretty hard way to travel. I wonder if there's a picture of it. Port Huon Fruit Juices Proprietary Limited. This is quite a book. Here we go, look. Rex Thompson's great picture of a trot smash at Elwick. Look at that. This flash racetrack looks got a white fence and all. Not built up at all. Goodness gracious, it'd be outlawed now. Anywhere else in the world, you buy a Hobart Welder. In Hobart, you buy a Murex. There you go. Derwent Park, Hobart, Tasmania. How cool is that? G'day. Dan's just come out to look at his bike again. Charles Davis, Hardware Merchants. Connerville, Cressy. We built a trailer for the O'Connors at Connerville, Cressy. And the house looked just like that too in the 90s. Where Tasmanian newsprint begins. There you go. There's a classy picture of two guys pulling a saw with this old wool flannel. That'd be itchy. They're both wearing flannel shirts, dungaree trousers, sawdust down the back there, and it'd be the most miserable thing. Sorry. If you ever worn one of them shirts, the shearer's flannel's not much fun, sawdust. Haynes, joinery, floorboards, weatherboards, lightings, mouldings and kiln-dried timbers. There's IXL Jam Factory, which is now a Big Flash Hotel, actually. My grandfather used to tell a story of touring the IXL Jam Factory when he was a small child. I don't know how much truth's in that, but he used to tell the story. And apparently there's an old guy there stirring a big jam pot and spitting in it for the kids, which made an impression, apparently. So I'm not sure if it's still made like that, but that was the Aboriginal carvings at Mount Cameron. Never seen them. I guess they're still there. Max Jeeves, look at this. Look at that. New record drag saw by the look of that. Don't ask how I know these things. You'll feel better if you don't know. Shell touring story. You remember those maps? For economy and travel, ask Shell. You just get a map. Remember what a map is? You used to go to the service station and buy yourself a map. How cool was that? There's a doe deer near Lake Leak. Everything to see. The Tasmanian Racing Club. Burgess Brothers in Hobart. Yeah, there's a massive sense of achievement after folding a map correctly. That's exactly right. There's Queenstown. Nice little spot. Bit of snow on the mountains there. Freezing cold. WC22 white, do you reckon? Might not be. Yeah, I reckon it is. It's 22 or 26 white. There you go. Austin A35. Austin A30. American cars are probably a a Dodge or something like that. It might be a Ford. How cool is that? Sorry. Seven HT were obviously a major sponsor. There's a couple more ads. Richmond? Walsh and Sons printers, they must have printed this, I guess, if they got the ad in here. British Farm Mechanisation, Max Jeeves. They were Ferguson agents, Max Jeeves. Yeah, the printer probably wasn't paid for the ad. Bit about politicians. 21 years leadership in air travel. What's this one? Now the Douglas Super Sky Chief. Look at this. ANA. Australian National Airlines. Power plant. 4 Pratt & Whitney 2400 horsepower engines. 17,000 pounds. Three hostesses. Over 300 mile an hour to Melbourne and Sydney. Block to block in 1 hour, 50 minutes. It's about double what it takes now. 58 passengers, air-conditioned, pressurised cabins, air... Jeez, how flash is that? First with meals in the sky. First with free ground transport. First with air freight bulk consignments. First with livestock air freight. Bit flashy, 4 engines, it's a pretty flash big plane. There's Cadbury's of Claremont. Before it was sort of grown up. Now it's all houses through there. Hotel St Ives and the Scott's Hotel in Melbourne when you're on the other end. The photographers, Norman Laird, Tony Gibb, Jack Thwaites, anyone who knows these guys. Rex Thompson, R.A. Vida, and Len Carter from the Mercury. Look at that. Speed graphic. How cool's that? Flash bulb and all. Got the speed graphic out. With the press, eh? So there you go. You go, Donald Gorridge. Also owned the Yellow Express service, the West Coast Freighting service, and West Coast Motors at Queenstown. They sold Land Rovers, Rover cars. There's a Rover 90, 70 or 90. And the Javelin, Bradford commercial vehicles, Matchless and Triumph motorcycles, Simplex marine engines, and Landmaster rotary hoe. There you go. Ross Garage is still there, still looks exactly the same, I think. Very Hobart oriented. Fuller's Bookshop's still there. And the Samoyed Kennels. So there you go. some pretty cool stuff in this book, actually. I really enjoyed that. Sorry to... How about Daffa Crisps? The Ship Hotel. Furnace Hotel in Ulverston. Customs House Hotel in Hobart. British Hotel Deloraine, which still looks something like that, I think. Cabaret Saturday Nights at the Regent Hotel in Burnie. Hawthorns Hotel. Garage for guest cars. Hawthorns had a big garage too. And so on. Tunbridge, the historic coach Hotel Verne in Moona. That one's right next door to the A&A. Golly. We're nearly there. Mark Cook's Used Car Centre. 35 Charles Street. Used parts and used cars. Where's... Oh, that's Moona. And of course the Tasmanian Transport Department. Transport Commission head office. Look at that. It's a DP rail car. And the Anzac Clipper bus. And what looks like it's probably a X8. It's an X locomotive. Which are also the first English electric locos to be exported. And of course there's a yellow cab ad on the back, around the clock. It was 7. B7512 and said B7513, double lines, so B7511. So 3 lines to the cab company. That's pretty flash. Anyway, good book. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, there's also one on beams and girders. Civil engineering book of some sort. Here's a book that's missing the cover. Or is that the cover? No, that's not the cover. Oh. How to work sheet metal. Oh, I'm going to sit down and read this. How cool is that? How to work sheet metal. Tank construction. Brazing. Soldering. Riveting. Riveting. And of course, the Model Engineers Percival Marshall book. Get this week's issue. It'll open the door to a new world of technical interest for you. Obtainable through all newsagents, as above. And the handbook on bullet making. Didn't we already say handbook on boiler making? There might be 2 of them. Yeah, I think we already looked at that. The other one never had covers. Might be the same book. I don't know if it is or not. The other one was a bit more technical. This one's got fold-out drawings. That's got a fold-out chart. Bore 2-inch, curve 1. Oh, I don't know what the chart is, but anyway, it's there. And it's starting to... Some of these need some work. Anyway, books. Love old books. Sorry, guys. Got carried away with old books. Don't know. Anyway, that's sort of my day. All the high tech of its day, yeah. Also bought this at the nut and bolt place. Change the subject. This is good stuff, right? This smells like a shearing shed. You can't smell it. You can smell it. You take a good deep breath. But really good on handballs and things for, not only is it good for your hands, but it also stops rust. Really good stuff. And I bought a big pot of it this time, and that's a grease rather than a cream. So, good stuff. I was pretty impressed to have that. The local nuts and bolts place had that. So lots of new books. Ordered this a while back and it finally arrived. This is something I bought, which is a John Fowler & Co. And take that bandage off. It's sort of healed up. It's only a cut. John Fowler & Co. reprint copy of their number 2 catalogue, which is all traction engines, sadly. There's not a whole lot about rollers, but pretty awesome. And rollers of some sort of interest at the moment, probably. Lots of cool stuff. Nice portables. It's an interesting portable with the flywheel at the back. Both of those. I don't know what happened there or where they come from or what the story is. Maybe someone else will know. But you don't see a lot of portables with flywheels at the back. I guess it was a thing. And all the cool stuff that they sold, or they made otherwise, traction wagons and water tanks and pole wagons and tippers and living vans, stuff like that. Covered traction wagons. So anyway, that's a pretty cool book that I bought. Wasn't crazy expensive, but I really wanted that, so that's something I got. Of course, today's my birthday, and I kind of didn't get a lot of birthday presents or anything, so I thought I'd shout myself. And don't judge me for this. I guess I should, in full disclosure, I should come clean and say I bought these. I didn't pay anything like full price, and I don't think I even paid. I sort of paid half price, which was still too dear. But they're kind of nice. I think this will bend enough so you don't have to be embarrassed by what's written underneath the lid. But a set of decent spanners in bigger sizes, metric sizes. So, yeah, something like that. So I bought a set of these. They were the right price, almost. And they weren't, but they're nice to have. And they were on the specials bench, so that was most of the reason. But yeah, China-made fridge, that's exactly right. We have a look, it's got China written there. They're all right, I think, but they're nice to have, and maybe one day I'll justify the purchase. Hey, Paul. Or I won't, but anyway, they won't be too shabby. I wasn't actually saying that, Mark, but anyway, there you go. So that was my splash out for this year, really. The first half nice thing I bought from a workshop. But anyway, they'll probably last forever and probably unlikely to ever replace them or finish the set. I've got some pieces. Guy in the truck was nice enough to replace the screwdriver that I chipped about 18 years ago on a job. They haven't as yet been fapped on, but they're that nice that probably you could. That's terrible. So there you go. But anyway, lots of junk, and I thought I'd share some of that with you. It's been one of those sharing junk sort of a nights. Appreciate that. There was a box come from D&D Barry. If you live in Australia and you haven't had a look at D&D Barry's website, you probably should. Putting things together to build this Jeremy Schmidt grinder. So I haven't even opened these. There's a couple of spring-loaded handles there, which are pretty nice. And there's a couple of hinges for... I had thought maybe that these would be all right. They were only a couple of bucks, but I thought they might have been all right for a project, but I don't think they will be. They might get used for something else. I think they're pretty solid. Don't know what else was in here. But if you're interested in this sort of hardware, these guys are the way to go. D&D Barry in Sydney. So there's some smaller hand wheels here, 3 of them, and one bigger one there for the Jeremy Schmidt grinder. $10mm, I think. Also some ball detents for my thread cutting attachment, which is needed. So I can progress on a bit further with that. I was waiting for them. And this one. So I was a bit premature taking that bandage off that. Sorry. Anyone who's a bit sort of scared of blood. Sorry. Anyway, one for the banjo on here, which is really nice. So you just lift that up and you can reposition it, which is awesome. So that's another overdue job, but it's fairly nice and neat and tidy there. I'm pretty pleased about that. I was going to use these for a hinge here on the guard, but it's a bit ugly. I really don't like that. So I'm going to think of something else to put on here as a guard hinge. Still thinking about that. Might even just put like 2 pins with a ball detent on them and spring loaded with a cross hole so that they click in place and pull off. So you just pull it off and push it back on. I'm not sure yet. Could put something that pushes in with an O-ring or something that goes right through with a clip on the back, or you could put 2 pins sticking out with a clip on the outside or thumb nuts on the outside that are always going to rattle loose. I don't know yet. We're still working on the guard thing. But anyway, that looks pretty much in keeping with the rest. So pretty pleased about that. And they're not crazy expensive. They're like, I think the big one was like $10 and the little ones are like $4 or $5. Hey, Brendan. Yeah, less said about that stupid purchase, the better. We won't go there. I just thought in full disclosure I'd show people, but 20 to 24 millimetre sizes are used on the machines around here and things like that, so they'd be pretty useful to have. But anyway, take care, Mark. Good to see you. Another thing I need in this workshop is a first aid kit. Who's got a first aid kit in their workshop? You probably should. I've usually got a box of Band-Aids kicking around, but I can't find it tonight, which is always the way. So, I don't know, I might need to find a first aid kit at some point. The place 2 doors along sells them, so maybe I should go along there and say, hey, I want a first aid kit. Peter's never needed a 20mm spanner. It's a couple of things here, the 20mm and 18, which is really stupid. But anyway. I got fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers here everywhere. I never need one of them. Maybe I do. Also have a carbon monoxide detector, which I'm not sure is any particular use. But anyway, in this big space, it'd have to get pretty muggy before it went off, I think. Electrical tape and a cotton ball is probably the best. A bit of rag and electrical tape. Anyway, so pretty productive weekend, pretty busy weekend, lots happening. And should be pretty exciting going forward because I've got lots of projects planned and lots of things that need to be done, and slowly starting to get a few suppliers together to do them. So we're going to have some cool stuff and make some cool videos. First thing will be get this major mystery, whatever it is, project going. Got to straighten this bit of tube. These are the only 2 bits of hydraulic tube I could find. It's only 2 bits of 8mm stuff I could find anywhere, to be honest, if we're going to go there. Really good fit for this and nice, but this particular piece, the other one's straight, but this one's got a bit of a curve in it. All right, so I'm going to have to straighten that somehow. I'm going to just try and see if we can straighten it without making it too much worse. It's not any pretty soft stuff. Oops. So I cut it to length and roll it on the bench and see where it's kinked and mark it and probably give it a bit of a tweak and see if I can get it somewhere near straight. So this one goes on here. Going to have to probably silver solder or tap. I don't know whether I'm going to make a piece and silver solder in there with the thread on it or whether I'm just going to tap that out and put a piece of long thread in there and Loctite it in. Don't know. But this one here goes on top here, like such. So that's a 6mm thread there. I haven't really seen what size hole that is. I bet it's about 6mm inside. So probably I'm just going to make a piece of short staff with an end on it, machine that off, and make it sit over the top, and then run a silver solder line around it, and have a thread sticking up so I can screw that on. That's the idea. And the other one's got the same for the table. So thinking about that. We've got pendulums, we've got legs, I've got most of the timber. Super glue definitely counts as a first aid kit. Super glue without a stuck lid or a broken packet that's missing out is bit ordinary, really, in a hurry. But at work, if you get a cut like that, super glue is the first thing you pick up. But yeah, I just banged it cut on a tap, actually, tap in a hole. But messing around. Talc powder is a great clotting agent. The baking soda and super glue mixes well together too. Maybe you might see a video, Dan, if you're having a productive weekend. Might be cool to see some progress. No pressure. What else? No real headway on the milling machine yet. That's round the corner. Probably not that far around the corner, I hope. If you have a look here, which impresses me, we've got actual clean floor. So, actual clean floor, and the welding. See that he said he would. That was a yes as far as I'm concerned. So, Dan Shed, go and subscribe to that channel. There's a video coming, guys. It's worth a look. Anyway, really impressed with the welding trolley. I've got a handle to go on this drawer just so you know which side to kick to open it. And actually the floor's pretty good. Swept up everywhere. Vacuumed up. Looking good. Put stuff away. Most of these drawers are all shut. That one's open because I was looking for something in an hour ago. Yeah, it's looking good. Don't look at the workbench too much. I got screwed over here with this bench, which is the milling machine bench here, because this shelf here has a bracket between the two to put the VFD on, and this is about 10 mil too low to put the vacuum cleaner under, which really annoys me. So I'm going to have to lift these up one section or one hole, which is about 50 mil. It won't hurt. It's probably a good thing to do that. But it's a big job because you've got to put the mill. But now I've got a welding bench that's mobile. I'm probably just going to skid the mill over onto there and move it all up, skid it back. That's the theory. So that's another thing. But got some sign painting to do, got projects to make, and got paying jobs as well to do, so pretty well full on. This is this racket shelving, so you just knock it out with a hammer and lift it up one set of holes and put it back down, and that'll fix it. That's fixed everything. But got to get the milling machine off it because it's a bit heavy. Anyway, there we go. Not sure I've really said much about anything except we were sort of bullshitted for an hour, which is kind of cool, but if anyone else does it, don't know how exciting it is if I do it, but there you go. And we've got some awesome books. So thanks, Patrick, if you're watching. I could just borrow the neighbour's forklift and lift the mill, but something would get broken, and I'm not keen on that. So we'll just slid it across and move it back. It's not a big job. Anyway, is everyone happy? Anyone got any other questions about useless things? I've still got to set these dowels up, cut them in length and set them up and put a point on one end. So I might have to borrow a friend's wood lathe to do that because it won't go through the spindle on mine. And make some legs, put some burnished grooves in them so that they look nice, then give them a coat of varnish and put some screw-in sockets on them. No, I can't weld. There you go, tea and biscuits. I can't weld. I don't think I can weld. I used to be able to weld. Many years ago, I learnt to weld. I used to be half reasonable good at it, but I don't believe I'm one of those people anymore, so I'm not sure. TIG weld scares me a bit because I haven't done any of it for a long time. Stick welding I can handle. It's not a bad little stick welder either. Done a fair bit of welding with that. Well, not a fair bit, but I've welded stuff with it since it's been here. And it seems to be a pretty good stick welder. There's a couple of boxes of electrodes in the bottom of the box. But and apologise for the pinstripes down the front. And I sort of think the only way to get good at straight pinstriping is to actually practice. So that wasn't a particularly good attempt, but anyway. So we might get some welding, but it'd be very nice to be able to TIG weld here. And that's the idea of it. I really don't think I'm going to be doing a whole lot of stick welding or anything else, but it'd be very, very handy to be able to TIG weld. So we'll get good at that eventually. Or we'll decide that we're too old and won't get good at it, one or the other. I'm not sure it's a particularly difficult thing to learn. I think it's one of those things that takes a bit more practice than anything else. Once you can look at your weld and sort of say, well, this is what this needs, or this is what this needs, or this is what I need to do. And that's the difficult thing to learn, I think, is actually to know what to change to improve it and to have that understanding. But I'm not sure I've got much of that either, but I've got a lot of friends who do, so we should be right. So not a welding expert by any means. I'm not an expert at anything particularly, but we have a lot of fun trying and do a lot of crap that no one else does. Oh, well, everyone else does. So the idea is to get this together and get a few bits of scrap and actually do some TIG practice. Sit down and actually do a couple of lines every night and see how we end up. Anyway, I'm out anyway. I think we've kind of called the end of this bullshit session. Thanks, guys, for joining in, and really appreciate you tuning in. It's good to catch up with everyone. Yeah, doing a few lines tonight. Chase it with a couple of cowboys. And it's very, very nice to have an awesome circle of friends that join in and we can kick around. It'd be nice if we're all a bit closer so we could spend Wednesday nights here in the workshop. But anyway, sometimes there's a reason no one else does. That's right. Anyway, take care. Be kind to each other, and more soon. Hopefully some actual progress and some real project videos, I think. Anyway, I'm out.